Hello. You know, there are some companies that receive less attention than they should based on their products, and CEntrance is one of such companies. Of course, they created a really bestseller model Hi-Fi Mate and Mini Mate like 5 years ago, but then they shifted more towards the professional audio market, creating different microphone amplifiers, mobile recording solutions, and so on. By the way, speaking about the mobile recording, I hope I will get soon their mixer phase with microphones, and it will drastically improve the audio quality of my videos, but we'll see. But of course, besides that, they've created few really good devices like DuckPort HD, really good small digital tone-off converters, still probably the best in its price and especially surprising when you look at its sound. And Blue Duck, Bluetooth digital tone-off converter, Duck Portable, so digital tone-off converter with battery, but they got less attention, but actually they totally deserve more attention. But anyway, today I've got for review the product that I think should get even more attention because they've managed to create a really good thing, and it's headphones, of course, you can see by the image on the box. Name is Cerene DB, and it was created for the studio monitoring first of all, but actually they are really good for casual music listening too. And today I will show them to you and we will talk about them. They are pretty affordable, price is $200, but now you can get it for $20 less for the 170, or even better offer from the CEntrance store, you can get them with DuckPort HD for $230 or so, saving almost about $100. And it's a really good offer if you need to get like all-in-one complete solution for listening the music from your computer, especially if you need closed back headphones like for the office or for some other noisy environment. But let's get back to the Cerene DB and take a closer look. As you can see, box is pretty simple, it's just eco-friendly packaging. It's not that big actually, it's just my smartphone camera, it's pretty wide angle, so it's showing it bigger than they are in the real life. Package opening is pretty simple. And inside everything is also pretty simple. So you will have leather storage pouch and headphones themselves. No useless stuff in the accessory set. So let's get that back. So here they are. And of course you can mention that they remind the Audio-Technica's M50X, and this was done on purpose because creators of CEntrance believe that M50X proves themselves as a really good, convenient model with good design, and they've used the same, not the same, similar headband design and construction, but they made it a bit bigger, so it will fit bigger heads easily. Of course, design and build quality is nice. They are really lightweight, made of durable plastic, but with metal parts where it's necessary. So you will have everything that you will need for comfort. Thick padded headband, really soft and comfortable, really good in load distribution and weight distribution. Nice clamping force, so it won't be too pressing, and at the same time it won't be too loose, so you will have good sound isolation but not too much. And of course soft ear pads. Actually, for my ears they are a bit small, For me, I'd like them to be a bit bigger, so they touch in my ears in the upper side, but it didn't cause discomfort because they are really soft and has good memory effect. Of course, there is pretty enough of space for adjustment, so you can see they can be adapted for the really big heads. And also, not surprisingly, you can do whatever you need with them. So they can be rotated, tilted, swiveled. You can fold them this way for easy carrying. So you can rotate them flat to carry on your neck. So whatever you need, you can do with them. Lightweight, durable, comfortable. So let's move them back in the normal, regular position. With metal parts where it's necessary, with plastic where it's not necessary. So built really solidly, so I suppose they will serve for a long time, because CEntrance usually work with pro audio engineers who like durability, and this was one of the key priorities for them. So what else I can say about them? Really comfortable even for long wearing sessions, but of pretty good sound isolation in both ways. Not probably 100%, but really few sound leaking outside, and they are pretty okay for wearing on the noisy street, in the public transport, and so on. And what else I can say about them? Actually, I think it's all about the exterior. Cable is not replaceable, but there is a strain relief, and then they were not created for the cable rolling or something like that. It's just workhorse, so no need in that audiophiliac stuff. Just thick rubber isolated cable with 3.5mm jack. So everything is built really solidly, really nicely, and it looks pretty attractive, so it's okay for everyday usage. Of course, it's not the case where headphones work like some fancy accessory, just headphones for music listening. And of course about the sound. So how do they sound? For this price and for the closed back headphones, they're sounding superb, and even I'm trying to avoid such words, but in this case I can say that they're sounding higher than their price. I will make few references a bit later, so of course don't require some, I don't know, $1,000 headphones performance, but for the closed back model they are really good, spacious, dynamic, realistic, and so on. But probably let's proceed with step-by-step description. As you can see, I used SP2000 as a reference dub this time. Actually not the reference, just to provide examples. I always use it as a reference, but today I put it on table to illustrate that this model sounding really well. CEntrance spent about 2 years tweaking the sound of these headphones, finding the proper driver, experimenting with damping, finding the proper manufacturer who can implement everything in a necessary way. So they managed to achieve the unachievable things, because this model is really natural to be used as a monitoring, but at the same time it's not lifeless and not too analytical and not sounding too clinical. So it's really good for the music listening, both on the go or stationary in the office. So in the cases where you need normal sound isolation, where you can't use open back headphones, for example. I will speak about comparisons a bit later, so now let's proceed. They require a burn-in, about, I don't know, 20 or 30 hours is required to make the sound settled, and after that they will have more defined mids and treble, because out of the box they are a bit shifted towards the bassier side, but after that sound settled. So low frequencies have good resolution. Of course, it's not $1,000 planars, but for the dynamic driver and for the closed back model, it's really good, because usually in closed back form factor you will have really muffled, veiled, accented bass. Some people like that such bass representation, and one company that was bought by Apple proved that fact, that many like this sound. But of course, CEntrance could not create such sound, so bass here is dynamic, lively, realistic, with good resolution, with really good texturing. It goes pretty deep, maybe not to the maximum depth, but depth is good, and bass is a tiny bit accented to provide enough of weight, so to provide necessary body for the instruments. And it's another rare case when closed back headphones are universal in terms of low frequencies. They're suiting really well for the acoustic instruments, I don't know, bass guitar, acoustic bass, some big drums, or even something like organs or didgeridoo that I used as an example some time ago. And at the same time they are pretty nice with synthesized bass, because you will have this bump, this kick and punch and impact. Maybe for some really bass heavy music I'd prefer a bit more low frequencies, but in general with electronic music they are also really satisfying. Of course, it's more a matter of preferences, but I'm speaking just about my taste. All the audio reviews is always about the taste and preferences. And as an example, I've got classic, total absolute classics. It's Enigma, Return to Innocense, and Enigma is being classical Enigma. It's just a nice, lively bass line, really building the foundation for their tunes, for the electronic music, for the vocal and all other stuff that they are famous for. And these headphones really manage to give you enough of low frequencies to sound impressive. And I need to mention in advance that they are really good in staging, so this track sounding also pretty realistic in this matter. So mid frequencies are resolving, not like in planar magnetic headphones, of course. You know, I think there should be different scales for the dynamic drivers and for the planars and for closed backs too. So they are really resolving for the closed back dynamic drivers, and at the same time they are not focused on the micro contrast like some planars do. They are more tuned towards neutrality and macro dynamics. They're really highlighting all that stuff that is typical for the macro dynamics, emotions, quick transitions, and some impacts, explosions, all that stuff. They are really good in that aspect. By the way, I really like them for movies and for gaming. But I'm a casual gamer, so nothing like not some 3D shooters or something serious, just some casual games, arcades. They are really engaging in this aspect. Well, really good full-bodied vocal and good instrument representation, nice separation. At the same time, they are a bit nitpicking, but that's something that you can expect from the monitoring headphones. So they require properly mastered records and tracks. They are not super sensitive for that, but a bit shifted towards that side. And what is really surprising with them, they are pretty good in building imaginary stage. Of course, once again, it's not $1,000 open back headphones, but for the closed back they are really good. So stage is above average in width and noticeably above average in depth. So depth even bigger than width, with really good layering and with vocals moving a bit forward, so really realistic. It's especially good with some with good recorded live tracks. They will give you this sense of realism. And as an example for the mids, I've got really interesting record. It's The Great Summit complete sessions. It's Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington together jamming, sometimes talking. So It's an absolute masterpiece that just getting you and deeping you in this atmosphere of two great musicians jamming together. I have selected I'm Just Lucky So and So, but every single track from this album could be a perfect illustration for almost all frequencies. Here you will have great acoustic bass, you will have nice for the low frequencies test, you will have percussions for the high frequency test, and of course you will have that famous signature velvet vocal that give you shivers, and these headphones really suiting well for this vocal, for this track, so really engaging and really good in building stage. And treble, so treble is also represented in a pretty natural way without additional accents. Extension is normal, but maybe just slightly above average, not more than that. But the main part of the treble here is present, and of course they're not accented but not recessed too, so you will have the perfect amount of treble, you will have all the percussion, cymbals and so on. Of course it's a bit not as fast as planar magnetic headphones, I'm always referring them as because they are usually a reference point where we're talking about speed, but at the same time resolution is normal and pretty realistic at accent decays, even a bit more realistic than inexpensive planars do, because they are usually leaning towards the natural, towards the faster side, sounding a bit too thin. Here you will have a really good weight of the treble, and you will have pretty nice overtone saturation on the treble area. I think it's also playing a vital role in the building proper imaginary stage, so everything is done in pretty nice way. And as an example for the treble, actually what I've got, I forgot what track I've got. Oh, of course, it's another jazz masterpiece. It's Glenn Miller's band, and it's remastered version in the digital mode. I like this remastered version. And it's Kalamazoo. Well, it's classical big band jazz standard, so you've heard it many times, maybe performed by other artists, but Glenn Miller's band doing it in the most engaging and classical and stylish way. And as any jazz orchestra, this record has a lot of overtones going pretty high, and these headphones represent them on the nice level, maintaining a good level of realism. In terms of pairing, if I remember specs right, they are 40 ohms and 96 decibels. Not the most sensitive, not the most tough to drive, so probably they require some player, not the smartphone, but nothing super powerful, so just something average from the average segment. I like the pairing with Fio M11, they just sounding even a bit more resolving, but of course it's a matter of subjective taste. And speaking about the conversions, I don't have many models in this price range, but Meze 99, Classics and Neo, they are more V-shaped, they more accented on the lows, more accented on the treble and more recessed on the mids. So basically this model is more mid-forward. So it's for those who like more mids, who like more natural sound signatures. And Audio-Technica MSR7, they are also pretty natural closed-back dynamic driver headphones, but they are thinner and brighter and more focused on the upper mids and treble area. They have a bit more treble extension, but at the same time this model sounding more realistic thanks to the better low part of spectrum performance. And Audio-Technica M50X, they looks pretty similar, but they doesn't sound similar. M50X more bassy, more weighty, with less resolution, with worse treble, so It's just more mass market tuned model, while this one is more targeted towards maybe not audiophiles, but towards those who like more resolution and better quality of sound. So, to summarize everything, CEntrance created a really good model. So don't expect some, I don't know, $1,000 performance, but for their price they are really good. If you're looking for something, some model to listen in the noisy environment, or where you shouldn't make any noise, it's definitely an option for you to consider. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.